Well, hello, everybody. Yes, sir, Bob, we're back.
Hey, buddy.
It's too late, buddy. Stop reading. It's too late.
Oh, damn. I was just getting my script already. I was going to say, hey, anybody want to buy a canoe? Because Angie and I got a couple behind us here for sale. So we're a new canoe company here now.
We've decided to come at you with a couple of different backdrops. We're still in Pine Post Productions, our really cool production facility. And yes, we both picked areas that have got canoes. I don't know.
Weird, eh? Of this whole building, we picked the two canoes in here.
Anyways, I love your backdrop, buddy.
Thank you. This is actually, everybody, just quickly, this is our online editing suite where I'm sitting today. So it's this is where Joe does all his final magic to make those Fishing Canada shows look so beautiful and wonderful and make Angie and I look pretty. So there you go.
I was going to say, what'd you do? Kick him out of his editing suite? But then I looked at the time. It's 5:01. There's no way he was going to be there at 5:01.
He was happy I came in at 4 minutes too. He says, I'm out of here, MFers.
Exactly. Well, welcome back, everybody. It has been a while. In fact, it's been 2 months to the day, if this was yesterday.
No way. Really?
We last spoke. So wow. A lot has gone by. Obviously, it was pre-Christmas. December 22nd was the last time we were on here together. And that was also the day we did the draw for the boat, motor, and trailer, which we're going to talk about here in a minute.
The redraw, right? The redraw. Wasn't it?
The redraw, right. But I do want to just remind all of you that we're all here tonight for a very special reason. There are a couple of major announcements that will come your way in about 20 minutes time or so at the bottom of the hour. We have two very important folks that will be joining us. We're honored to have both of them on. Lisa MacLeod, who is the Honorable Minister of Tourism. Actually, it's Heritage, Sports, Tourism, and Culture Industries, and the Honorable John Yakabuski, Minister of Natural Resources and Forestry. They'll both be joining us at 5:30-ish, and both will be talking about some very special stuff that's in the works for all of us as anglers and outdoors people. So
yeah, people have ideas, et cetera, et cetera. A lot of people know what we're going to be talking about, but this is like the official announcement of it tonight. So there you go. We're going to.
Without further ado, let's get to the program. First of all, we'd like to congratulate Brenda Kennedy. Yes, I got it right this time. Brenda
Kennedy. Kennedy.
From Morriston, Ontario. She is the winner of the beautiful Princecraft 14-foot Yukon WT with the Mercury 4-stroke 20 horsepower motor and custom trailer. And a couple of quick things I want to say about
the Garmin unit. She won the Garmin unit as well.
Right.
So
right
in there too.
So she's got a sonar, a
set up, dude. She's better than us this year.
Anyways, needless to say, it's a wonderful package. But a couple of things I just want to point out about it. First of all, she had 625 entries in the virtual drum. So anybody who says, it doesn't matter how many ballots you put in, it just takes one to win. I agree, it takes one to win. But which one was it of the 625 that she had in there? Regardless, she worked hard for it,
Good point.
And I just wanted to mention that. The other thing, too, there was a little bit of kerfuffle over this whole thing. And I don't want to.
A little bit?
Yeah, it was a little bit of kerfuffle.
It was a kaleidoscope of a domino effect of wrong after wrong after wrong after wrong after wrong is what it was. It was just we were in our bad luck zone. So
by the way, look at I'd rather be fishing says, hey, is she looking for a net man by any chance?
Nice.
I'd rather be fishing. You know what's great about this thing is that Brenda and her husband were in the market for a boat, motor, trailer. They had already been scouring the internet to buy one, and they had made a commitment to themselves to actually get one this spring. So how perfect is that?
Wow.
That's just wonderful.
The fishing gods blessed them that day for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool.
Hey, Tony, how you doing, buddy? Nice to see you too, man. And of course, all of the regulars that are on here with us. Nice to see Calvin up and around as well, and all of you.
Cal here? I didn't see Cal there. Yeah. Okay. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
We miss you guys as much as you miss us, by the way. Keep in mind that when we did the last program on the 22nd of December, we went into the Christmas season, and then shortly after that, we went into lockdown and all kinds of stuff. And you know, as much as it would have been great for all of us to get together, say in the month of January, maybe early February. It just didn't happen. So here we are now, finally. Want to remind you folks that we still have the Garmin contest going on the site.
Yeah, baby.
Tell us what that is, Mr. Bowman. It's
a Garmin Panoptix Live Scope ice fishing bundle. Basically, we've talked about it before. It is like the best of the best when you get out on the ice and you just open the beautiful case for this unit, and everybody else around you goes,
whoa. You hear the angels, right? You hear the angels.
So you've heard us, everybody's heard us live raving about Live Scope and that, and now you can take it out on the ice. This kit, of course, is a portable kit that you can put in your boat once the ice leaves us. You do a little conversion for your transducer, just got to get it mounted somewhere on a pole or something like that, and then you've got the best of 365 days of fishing with Garmin Live Scope, and it is such a game changer. We keep saying it, but I'm telling you, every time out, we're learning more and more and more about it, and it is so awesome. So it's a great.
And how would one win one of those, Mr. Bowman?
Well, they got to go to fishingcanada.com, and you'll get knocked in the face with it as soon as you go there. It's the first thing you're going to see, and you're going to enter as many times as you can, because as you saw Brenda, 625 entries, and she got herself a boat motor trailer. So you keep persistent and give yourself better odds and better chances, and you could win.
Every 24 hours, you're eligible to drop a ballot in that drum. So don't miss out on the opportunity. I don't know when we'll have another one of these up again.
Exactly.
I can tell you, it'll be a while.
Yeah, for sure. That's March 31st, right, Ange? The end of March.
We will be making the draw live here with you.
Why you gotta do that to me again? I need to have a big garden shears, and when your finger goes close to my computer, or any computer goes shoot, you're gonna cut your fingers off.
All right. So here's some of the things that we discussed after the tragedy that we had on December 15th. Well, that was the start of it, but the tragedy took place much later. I think 3 or 4 days after that. But anyways, how many of you? By the way, that's my phone ringing. I turned it off, but it's ringing anyways. Don't worry.
Okay, okie dokie, buddy. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Blame that on Nick.
So the deal is this. I love live. Okay, I'm the only one in this whole damn company that loves walking on a tightrope. You know why? Because for 28 years, I was doing live radio programming every single Saturday, live. And I love live because once that red light goes on, it's like jumping out of a plane. Like everything is real. There's no makeups. There's no, oops, oh yeah, okay, well, let's do it. No. And I love that. And I love that aspect of doing a live draw. And so everybody here wanted to do it off camera and then announce the winner. And I said, no. And then for those of you who have been with us from day one, you know what happened. There was some technical errors. There was some human errors. There was errors galore. And
Avon is calling it.
Hey?
Avon's calling you right now. It's a comment from Sean.
Probably. But after several meetings afterwards, everybody suggested to me, see, that's why we don't do live. That's why the NHL doesn't do their lottery picks live. That's why nobody does live. Well, that's fine. Nobody needs to do live, but I want to do live.
Are you better than the NHL? Is that what you're saying?
Give me a little quick high five, all of you listening in that want to do live with me.
I like that. I like Jeremy Whalen's comment. Says hook sets like Petey Bowman, baby. That's all it's about. That's what it's about, brother. Right there, Jeremy. Hit them hard, brother. Doesn't matter if they get off, as long as you get a good set in there. It looks good. Feels good.
So anyway, so we're gonna do it live. We're gonna do it live every. We're gonna do the big one live on March 31st, and then we're gonna do all the rest of them live until further notice. Until I screw up so badly that I don't know. The law won't let me do
No,
live.
don't say it, buddy. Just don't. Okay, good. Moving on. All righty then.
Okay.
The swag store. You got to talk about the swag store a little bit.
The swag store. Yeah, I don't
Yes.
know how many of you noticed, but I think in the last week or two, maybe, we quietly put up a bit of Fishing Canada paraphernalia. I want to just mention this to you, that it is a third-party sale, meaning it's not us. I want to be perfectly clear. I don't want anybody to say, "Oh, you guys, I thought we were in your store." No, it is not our store. It is a third-party company, and we're experimenting, just so that you know. We do plan on having our own store at some point. In fact, our entire website is going to be changing very soon, with a store built right in it, et cetera, et cetera. But that's not happening for a little while yet. So we thought we'd take this opportunity to see what works, what doesn't work. The reason I'm telling you this is because I do think that there are some things with our current Fishing Canada swag store that, if it was mine only, I would probably change. I want to know what you think. Rather than me put thoughts in your head, let us know. It's very important that you communicate with us, those of you who have gone there and are going there, to let us know what you think.
David Bridge made a great point. Says no hats in the store, and that's one thing we were surprised at too, David. That's not from us. That is, again, the store's choice. We thought of all things, Fishing Canada should be selling hats of anything at all. You know what I mean? So that, again, we're working on that one too. So, but you're right. You're correct. So.
Norm wants to know if the fluffy rat's going to be there someday.
Oh, Norm's hardcore on that, isn't he? Love it.
I hope to have it there, Norm. We'll see. Time. Anyway, just want to let you know your input is highly valued and would be highly appreciated. Yeah, I think the shipping costs are way too high, but once again, I don't have control over it. We don't know.
Yeah.
So.
You know, that shipping is weird, right? You can go on Amazon, you can get free shipping that's 2 or 3 days without even getting the Amazon Prime, and yet other items is going to cost you a fortune, a quarter of the price of half the price of the unit too. So it's bizarre, but that's just the way it is, I guess.
Yeah.
ICAST.
Right.
What about ICAST? Do you want to talk quickly about that?
Well, we're talking about huge announcements. There was a huge announcement just recently sent out that I was personally shocked initially. But I'll be very frank with you. I'm kind of settling into it now, and I just want to quickly throw it out on the table, see what you think. ICAST is not arguably, it is the largest single fishing trade show, not consumer show, trade show in the world. There are 2 other shows run by the same people in other parts of the world, but this one in particular in the U.S. is the largest of its kind. It's in its 64th year, I believe.
Wow.
Yeah, of course, last year it was canceled due to COVID. It takes place predominantly in Orlando, Florida. I say predominantly because every 4 or 5 years they kind of throw a curveball in there and bring it down to Vegas, and then they bring it back to Orlando, right? Anyways, they just announced this year they're going live again. Like a full-blown show. They're
thousands of people.
July the 20th to the 23rd. They're going to be at the Orange County Convention Center. For those of you who are not familiar with the Orange County Convention Center in Orlando, Florida, is probably the biggest convention center, certainly in the state of Florida, maybe in the U.S. It's massive. And according to the Orange County folks, they're saying we're good to go.
No worries. Who the hell
not only that, Pete, but they just won an award because apparently in the last couple of months they've had 14 trade and consumer shows at the convention center in Orange County, and they've actually won an award for being something about being the cleanest and most COVID-friendly shows in America. Yeah, because there's no other shows.
Obviously, we've been here. If somebody's feeding us horse shit, is the truth, because we were hearing like there's 1 million something people that were dead from COVID in the state of Florida, and now we're finding out that it's not true. So somebody, I don't know what, there's a disconnect here, something going on, because
according to the Orange County folks, they're doing extremely well with this whole COVID thing.
Wow.
And they're I'm confused.
Yep.
I don't know what to think in terms of great idea. Let's all go down to Orlando and participate or not. I really don't know. I can tell you that I've been going to this show for some 38 years, 40 years now, and there's no way in hell that I can see fit going to this thing. But anyway, it is
bizarre.
Let us know what you think, by the way. Maybe we're a little on the far side.
I guess the flights will go there, but you got to come back and quarantine. You got to get your hotel room for 3 days, then you got to go quarantine for the rest of that time. So, and who knows by the time the show comes. But anyway.
By the way, Mike wants us to go out west and do a show in the Western provinces. I love it.
We love it out there. It's fun.
Calvin wants to know who's that Muppet character on your office door behind you? The Muppet character.
That right.
Peter, I'll let you answer that one.
Is that the little picture?
I'm assuming that. I don't see anybody else on the walls.
Here's my kid, I think. It's Cole, isn't it?
Cool.
Pretty cool. Hey, Calvin, Cole's only 16 right now, but I think it's about time to go a Navy boy right now. I think he'd be really into having a little round or two with you if you wanted. He's only 16, buddy, so you might be able to take it. I'm going to tell him.
Anyway. Hawk Lake Lodge says, going to Florida, ? Not a chance in hell.
Yeah.
I tend to agree.
Absolutely.
I don't understand what the hell's going on. But, hey, anyway, to each his own. Some new bass regulations. David agrees with us, of course. I love it. Some new bass regulations were introduced this January. We did a piece on it. We featured it on fishingcanada.com, and it's about a exemption or change to the current bass regulations in Zone 20, Fish Management Zone 20 here in Ontario, and it's pretty drastic. They are opening up. In fact, it's been open since January 1. Not many people are even aware of it or can take advantage of it. Been open since January 1 and will close on May the 10th. And this is a total catch and release fishery in FM 20, Zone 20, which is basically the North Shore of Lake Ontario.
Right up the St. Lawrence River on the Ontario.
Right up the St. Lawrence River. Yeah. So one thing that they're now fielding, since they put this up on their site, is tournament organizers writing in and saying, "Hey, wait a minute, we're all about catch and release. Can we run tournaments in May?"
They're already on it. The Weiss hasn't even left yet.
I mean, if it's okay for people to go out and catch a few fish in April and May, why can't we? And there was a press release that went out last week, I believe February 7th, from MNR, and it was pretty cut and dry, Pete.
Yeah, so here's the deal. This new catch and release only bass season, smallmouth and largemouth bass season. Okay, I'm going to kind of get a little extensive here. That is, it's also when it's a catch and release, it means there's a 0 possession limit as well, or retention. You can't keep any fish, obviously. And the whole thing when they put catch and release and the 0 possession, it means you have to get rid of that fish as fast as possible. So, as in a tournament, if you caught that fish in the tournament, okay, we're going to throw it back. But wait a second, I got to put it on the scale. I'm going to weigh it. Okay, Marshall, you see that weight there? 4 pounds, 2 ounces. Yeah, got it. Okay, everybody's good? Good. Take the bet. That's illegal. You can't do that. That is why they're saying you can't do that in a tournament. It's to the point of even, and this is something very important for anybody that's going to participate into this, because I've talked to the MNR today and I've looked into it, and it's because I'm going to be taking part in this too as well.
Of course.
That means, and that means, of course I am. But I'm learning a lot.
Why not?
Why not? It's open, right? That's what you're saying. So the other thing is, let me talk, and then you can do the rant afterwards. Let me give some good, solid information. Then you can rant all you want. That means that even taking a picture The taking the picture is not illegal. Holding the fish up for a picture is illegal. Okay, there's a technicality there. So if you had your selfie camera, you did this, like that, and the game warden saw you, boom, you're busted. Believe it or not, you can't do that even. If you're filming it on video, if Angie and I were filming it on video or something like that, you just catch the fish and throw it back, of course, you know, you're not doing anything. You cannot delay the release of that fish whatsoever. Okay? So that's the law that it's going to catch a lot of people off guard. That's the one right there. So I just wanted to say that. And that's with the zero retention, zero possession limit on a catch and release season. Like, of course, it goes the same way in out of season as well. When people accidentally catch a fish, you're not supposed to take a picture or anything like that. So that's the clarity on the tournaments, which brings it to the picture taking. Now go ahead and rant all you want now.
Well, see, now you're going to make me look like the bad guy, like you always do, right? Because you're benevolent.
No.
Right?
You will make you look like a bad guy if it's possible.
You've already set this up for me to be the bad guy. It's fine. I'll be the bad guy. Here's my take on it. We have the best bass fishery between smallmouth and largemouth bass. We have the best bass fishery on the planet in this part of Ontario. And I'm talking about Southern Ontario right now. We have an opportunity to catch as many bass as we want. We have an opportunity to catch personal best bass every day that we go out fishing for both smallmouth and largemouths. That takes place from end of June till late, as far as I'm concerned, late in the fall.
Yep.
That's not good enough. That's not good enough. We want more. Let us have more. Let us go into that period of time when these fish have a break. And listen, anybody who tells you that the pressure on bass has not increased tenfold in the last 5 or 6 years is out of their mind and they're not of this planet. So those couple of months, Jack Summers, I am the bad guy. Thanks, Jack. So those couple of months that they have off, now we need to go muck around with them. Yes, I agree with you. They're not on the beds. In April and early May, that first week of May, chances are they're not on the beds. There may be in some places, but for the most part, they're just setting up. That's not what I'm talking about. This is not about fishing bedding fish, which I think we all agree is a no-no. It should never happen.
Absolutely.
All I'm saying is, can they not have a couple of months off? Is it that much? Is it just like too much to ask for us?
They are getting a couple months off. They do get a couple months off.
Oh,
that's what they're giving them. So listen, your buddies at the M&R did this. It wasn't Pete Bowman said, "Hey, M&R, come on, they did this."
Trust me on this. Trust me on this. Okay, this didn't come. Thank you, Tim. I appreciate it, buddy. This didn't come without pressure. This wasn't, and I don't want to poo-hoo this whole thing because this is an evening of celebration and happiness because we are getting some great news coming up in the fisheries here in a few moments. This didn't come without pressure, though. This didn't come without constant knocking on that door. That's all I want to say about it. Now, the fact that it's open, okay, great. Doesn't mean we have to participate in it. Doesn't mean that we all need to go line up, which I know a lot of you are going to, and I'm talking about you, Mr. Nice Guy, Mr. Bowman.
Point the other way. You got to point the other way. You got to go like that.
I'm talking about you, okay? God forbid, should you give those fish a break? No. It's my God-given right. I need to go wreak havoc. I need to display my dominance and superiority over those fish.
I need to learn. I need to learn about my trade. I need to figure out as best I can.
Can we do this? Can we do this now that I'm the bad guy? Now that I'm openly the bad guy. Can we do a little poll? Jordan,
absolutely. There, look at this.
There it is. So let us know what you think of the Zone 20 changes by voting in our poll. There's how you get to our poll. And I don't know whether it's just yes or no. No, I'm assuming is going to be no, I'm against it, and yes, I'm all for it. Let us. Yeah. I'm probably the only guy on the.
No. You have a lot of people, and you justify it in your opinion. That's for sure. But you got to remember, just because you want to give these fish a break. Number one, this is an experiment, by the way. This is a Zone 20 experiment, right? You want to give these fish a break. Then why would they allow lake trout fishing to be open till the end of September in certain zones, and they spawn in October? They're full of eggs, but you can kill them full of eggs September. Why would they have pike in Zone 20? You can fish till March 31st, It closes till May. So you know those pike are loaded with eggs on that ice out that's coming up very soon. They're loaded with eggs. They're going to be spawning. You can kill them. You can fillet them. You can do whatever you want. There's no even how to catch and release. How about those trout in Lake Ontario, the Great Lakes, open all year, that are swimming up to go spawn, and you're gonna hit them on the way up full of eggs? It doesn't hurt the fish. It's not hurting. That fishery's not hurting. Is that Lake Ontario fishery hurting?
Oh, okay. Talk to me in a couple of seasons.
Okay.
About hurting or not hurting. Hey, talk to Gord Pizer, the doc, who's got his finger.
Gord Pizer is against spawning fish on beds. He's not talking pre-spawn way ahead.
He's against the total open season on bass that they have up in that district. And Gord was an M&R biologist.
Absolutely.
Did work in this field for many years, as you know. He was 38 years with the ministry.
Absolutely.
Ask him about the results. So anyways, let's move on.
The spawning fish, I agree. That's bad for that. You don't fish on the beds. So
you know what? Fill out the ballot or the poll. Let's see where we're at. And if I'm on my own on this, fine. I won't say anything.
I think you're going to be higher on the ballots than this.
I want to just say one thing. I want to say one name: Scugog. Remember that, because that was put up to a vote by M&R. And nobody wanted to listen to them. They all say, no, we're good. Well, guess what? It's closed.
They wanted to catch and kill their fish.
It's closed.
That's what they voted to do, right?
Right. We got to move on.
See, now you're waving it up. You're waving it up because they wanted to kill you're saying that they wanted to kill their fish, then they deserve it. Absolutely. We don't want to kill our fish. We want to catch, release, and let them swim away and have a nice day. Beautiful.
All right. We've got a really important part of the show now. And then enough of my...
That was important. Okay? Don't downplay that. That was a very important part as well. You know what I mean?
All right. So before we bring on our two very special guests who will be with us sometime soon, I want to just read you a quick little letter from one of our, I don't even know what to call folks anymore. Are you our fans? Are you, no, I'm serious. I don't know. Like followers, whatever it is. We have a great email that came in, and it was so timely because we're about to announce a very special program that deals with this tonight, in fact. So I just want to read you a quick little letter. It says, please pass this on to Angelo and Pete. So he just sent it to info@fishingcanada.com.
Yeah.
Don't see where else I can mail them, so I sent it to info@fishingcanada. I want to thank you guys for your weekly shows and contests. It helps me with this COVID virus, and I won't repeat the word he used, not being able to go out, etc. I had a brain injury recently and lost my house, and now can't work, but still I'm able to go fishing to my favorite lake, my favorite spot, Lake Onaping. Pete? Onaping. With my best buddy, Rick. Rick's sister-in-law, Maureen, owns the 3 outpost cabins on that lake. She is a wonderful lady and gives us a great deal, even though she's having a really tough time as an operator and owner of the lodges. She gives us a great deal so that we can continue our fishing. If not for Onaping, I don't know how I would function with my disability. When I get there, it's so peaceful, great scenery, and of course, fantastic fishing. Now, when I watch you guys every day and every week on your TV shows and your YouTube channel, it makes me think of those great experiences in God's country. I'll be 63 in March, and my buddy Rick is 64. We sure hope that we can scrape up enough money to be able to afford these trips right into our 80s. Again, I want to thank you guys so much. I really don't think you understand just how much you help us. I sure know now why you do this for a living. And he goes on to give us the address of wherever up in that area to look him up and say hello. And we were moved by this letter, but we started an initiative about 3 months ago that was focused on this exactly. And that is operators in Northern Ontario, because a lot of us don't even think about them. We think about, and we should, about the restaurant owners and the local businesses that are being crippled during this pandemic. But we just don't spend enough time thinking about poor folks from up north.
Absolutely.
who have nothing else. This is it. They have nowhere to turn.
That's exactly.
And also about people like this gentleman who have got a disability, and fishing, and by the way, disabilities don't have to be just physical, as we all know, and fishing or getting outside, participating in outdoor activities is the only crutch available to them. And so it's very fitting that we make an announcement here tonight.
You know what? It's not just disabilities too. It's people affordability too. People expendable cash is very hard nowadays, right? It's not like it's the easiest of times either, as well. So just to throw that in there, that it's you're kind of holding on to your money until you have to or need to spend it. You know what I mean? So go ahead. Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
They're in the waiting room, yes.
Yep. So without further ado, I would like to bring on our two very special guests to announce these just tremendous programs that they have made available to us. First of all, the Honorable Lisa MacLeod, who represents the riding of Nepean, by the way, and currently serves as a Minister of Heritage, Sports, Tourism, and Culture Industries. And a friend of the programs, he's been on several times, the Honorable John Yakabuski, Minister of Natural Resources and Forestry from Renfrew, Nipissing, and Pembroke. How you doing, guys?
I'm fantastic.
Oh, there we are. We're doing great.
Wow, look at this.
And Pete, how you guys doing?
Good, we're good, buddy.
Hello, Lisa.
Hey.
We are so overjoyed that the two of you took the time to join us tonight. I can't tell you how thrilled and honored we are. And I don't know. Sometimes I get a little wimpy and speechless. This is one of them. I just think this is great stuff. So, John, if you don't mind, if I could just address the one announcement first, and then we'll get on to your big one.
I'm looking forward to hearing about it. It's going to be news to me too, Lisa, right?
So we've been busy, Lisa. We've been busy for the last 3 months working with some of your people out in the field. One in particular that you may be familiar with, Dave McLaughlin from DNO. DNO is Northern Ontario, Destination Northern Ontario, and he is a tireless ambassador for wild places.
He is the best person. I love him. In fact, if he's watching right now, I actually call him D Diddy. That's his nickname.
D Diddy.
Like D Diddy, but he's D Diddy.
I love it.
Well, David and I, and for those of you who might not be familiar with Dave McLaughlin, I think it's important that you know who this guy is. He is a lodge owner. He is a third-generation lodge owner. Not only a lodge, they own an airline. They own, like, they're heavily invested in Northern Ontario. And we've been trying to think of, he's also executive director for Destination Northern Ontario. We've been trying to think of ways to come up to help the folks who run all those wonderful little businesses that we all love so much, as anglers and outdoors people. And everything that we tried to do kind of came up blank. Yeah, we could promote and market their businesses. We could suggest to fellow anglers that they go visit them, and we do.
We do that every week, bud. Every week we do that.
Every week we do that on the show. But what could we do to put money in their hands? So we got together with David and his group, and we come up with a wonderful program that is called the Great Ontario Getaway Giveaway. And we've been able to put together $75,000 and growing, by the way, of money that we're going to put right back into the hands of those operators. What's going to happen is we're going to have this huge, and for those of you who've been with us for a long time, we've been hinting about doing this great giveaway and getting all of you folks that haven't experienced the fishing lodge in Northern Ontario an opportunity to. We have it finally here. We're going to have this wonderful contest whereby every month we're going to give away 5 for 2, so that's 10 all expense paid trips into Northern Ontario, into trips of a lifetime, absolute lifetime, free of charge. The best part, though, is that the operator that is going to host you gets paid for it in full. So not only is the consumer going to enjoy this once in a lifetime trip, but we're going to put money into the operator's bank account at a time when, believe me, It's critical. It is absolutely critical that we help our own homegrown businesses.
And for people that have never visited a fishing lodge, just to let the fans that are watching that if you've never visited a fishing lodge, I mean, I was one of those people, Hans was one of those people before we did the fishing. We got very lucky to be a television host, but it is an experience like no other. It really is such we all love our fishing. Yeah, we get that. We all love the outdoors. But to get this little trip into a gem of a place that's in the middle of nowhere, catching fish after fish after fish, you're going to stop. I got to stop catching fish. I got to breakfast back in the day, just sit there, play cards at night, whatever it is. You have no idea how good a fishing lodge trip is. It is that good.
So hopefully we will. This is going to start sometime in March. Right now it's scheduled for the 15th, but I have a feeling it's going to be closer to the 31st of March that we're actually going to launch it. It's open to every Canadian over the age of 18. There's no strings attached. It's totally free. All you have to do is go to fishingcanada.com, click on the Great Ontario Getaway giveaway, and enter to your heart's content. Every 24 hours, you can put a ballot in. Now, the way it works is kind of interesting, as opposed to the way we run our regular contest, where it's just a ballot that you drop in. This one's going to be a little different. We're actually going to have you do a little bit of work to earn your free trip. So you need to go in there and put up an image, a picture, preferably in the outdoors. Obviously, a fishing picture would be great. Camping picture, canoeing, anything you do in the outdoors. And we need a compelling story, very similar to the one I read you tonight from one of our viewers. And how fishing or the outdoors is getting you through this pandemic. That's what we want to hear from you. And then people are going to be encouraged from all over the country to go in and vote for you based on your story and your image. And it's going to be great. And that's all you need to do is get people voting for you. And it's going to be an absolutely wonderful experience for all of us.
Well, Lisa and I are experts at that.
Well, I'm not quite as an expert as you are there, Yak, with your 75% victories.
By the way, I heard you spent a bit of time up north this year, Lisa.
I was.
Good. So,
yeah, I'll tell you all about it. It was a great time. I went for an entire week with D. Diddy.
Oh, so you know what I mean about, it's such a special part of the world, and we take it for granted. And I would love nothing more than to have, a lot of these folks that are going to win go for the very first time. I mean, it'll be great if somebody wins a trip that they're already, been to Northern Ontario for time. But that special first timer, man, it's going to be just outstanding. So we're really thrilled to be a part of this thing, and I think it's going to be a big, wonderful program that we are all going to look back to and say, "Whew, thank God we had something at that time to get us through this."
No kidding. I see Spartacus Fisher there in the comment, and she says Ontario guides are hunting as well, guys. This trip will include guides as well. If there's guides in there, this is going to be an all-inclusive trip. So if you're thinking, you might have to spend extra on guides, it's all going to be set up for you. When you win big. So there you go.
Now, the only thing is you're going to have to get if you're from BC, for example, it's going to be a little more expensive for you because you need to get yourself from Vancouver to Toronto. Once we come to a central hub, then it's all included. Yeah. So that's the only drawback. But hey, these are trips of a lifetime. I mean, let's be honest about it. It's going to be fantastic. Anyways, just wanted to throw that out there, Lisa. Now you know the whole story.
I love you guys. Why have I not ever been on this program before?
You know why? Because every time we tell John, "Hey, bring some of the other ministers on," he'd say, "Nah, they're busy."
That Yak, he wants the whole platform for himself,
I got to say one thing, Lisa. I just want to throw this out there too. I've known John now for some time, and he is one of the most incredible ministers of natural resources. And I've worked with all of them, from liberals to conservatives. I got to tell you, there's only one of John, and that's it. There's nobody ever been even in the same league, and I don't.
Wow, that's awesome.
Well, you'll find there's only one LMAC too as you get to know this one.
So, Ange, what you don't know is he and I have been seatmates off and on for the past 15 years.
Yeah.
And we're currently seatmates again. And when Yak called me to come on here, I said, they're so lucky. We don't have mac and cheese. We have Yak and Mac.
Really?
Nice. Nice.
No, that's the first thing we wanted to talk about. And you know, we'll fill everybody in as we go here. Over the next 10 days, like this thing is going to ramp up real quick. We just made it official and signed all the paperwork and all the T's crossed and I's dotted last Wednesday. So it's all brand new. And
well, you know what Lisa's doing to promote tourism this year as well, you know, throughout the province. So this, I think, it dovetails perfectly with that.
Oh,
it's going to be great.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, now, John, you have another interesting piece to add to this that will also help tourism and fishing. The stage is yours, my friend.
Well, I want to thank Lisa first for joining me, because her ministry is so tied into my ministry when it comes to Northern Ontario, because, I mean, there's 3 industries in Northern Ontario. There's forestry, there's mining, and there's tourism. And in fairness, the pandemic, the impact it had on the tourism industry dwarfed everything else. We were able to, you know, declare forestry as a essential business, mining is essential, but tourism, because it's something that people, you know, have to have the opportunity and make the choices. It was one that was just, and of course we were unable to bring anybody from outside of the borders. That it was tremendously injured by this. So I want to thank Lisa for the absolute champion that she's been in doing everything she can to help not only our resource-based tourism industries like we have in the north, but tourism all over the province, culture, sport, everything. We can thank Lisa for so many of those things. So thank you for being on here today, Lisa. And this is very much tourism related.
Oh, yeah.
So, Ange, from the day I became Minister of Natural Resources and Forestry, you were on me like, you know, well, none of these things that we could say on the air, but you were on me. And one of the things that, you know, I had no idea about, and I'll be perfectly honest with you, it just came as right out of the blue. And you said, John, why can we not have multiple lines to fish carp? I said, I don't know. What do you need? Well, there's so much potential in this sport, but you can't do it with a single line. I said, oh, well, man, I'm sure we can take care of that for you. That shouldn't be a big deal. Well, then we find out that it isn't really. We have to get approval from the federal government because it comes under fisheries and oceans. And so we made all those, I don't know how many times we talked about this, and we made the pitch to the federal government. And then, of course, COVID has everything held up, and for all kinds of different reasons. So within the last few months, we have got the approval from the federal government to proceed with the regulatory changes that we proposed. So we will now have multiple lines. In fact, we have 3 lines. We got you one extra, Ange. You can have 3 lines to fish carp in the fish zones in Ontario that are most appropriate, including Lake Erie, the St. Lawrence River. I have to make sure I get them all. Maybe I better read this if I have it here, but you know them better than I do. But all of the areas that would be pertinent to carp: St. Lawrence River, Lake Erie, Lake St. Clair, Lake Huron, Georgian Bay, and all the zones, management zones 12 to 20, throughout the fish management zones 12 to 20. And so this is big news. And we know that.
Not to interrupt you, John, but our social feed right now is blowing up. I just want you to know. Like never before. Okay.
That's good. Because you talked to me about this international carp tournament, which of course I knew nothing about. And then you start to talk to me about some of the numbers here and the people and the participation and what it does to Lisa's point for tourism dollars all across the world, where they're able to hold these things. And the people that come from, we're not going to have people from BC. We're going to have people coming from all over just BC. We're going to have people coming from all over the world. And I know you guys are going to obviously organize this. But at some point in the future, we'll be able to have that tremendous draw, that international carp fishing tournament right here in Ontario. So, and of course, Lisa's predecessor, Michael Tobolo, we had a little chat about that at the Sporting Goods show one year. And I know that, of course, Lisa would be is the champion she is. She would be just right on top of that as well. But this is going to be something tremendous that would have this in the province. So, Ange, I want to thank you and your folks for pushing me, and we're just glad we got it done. And I know that Minister MacLeod is probably going to be looking forward to that. We might even get on a boat together, right, Lisa?
Wow.
We will. We're doing it this summer because I told Dean Diddy that I would be back up in Northern Ontario and go visit one of the outfitters and do something like this. So we'll make sure we do that at the same time, John.
You know what I'd like to do, guys, and without putting you on the spot, I know that's a problem with live events, but I'd like to see if we can get both of you, either separately or together, to join one of the winners on one of these, and just make it a really special event, so.
We'd be more than happy to. So just give us the dates and we'll try and arrange that. Yeah, this is
so also to both of you, you won't be able to take the smile off my face for weeks to come. This thing is so big. You have no idea how big this is. I took the liberty of calling Europe last night to Ross Honey, who is he is the guru, and he runs the biggest international carp events on the planet. And Ross and I have been talking about this moment for some time, and I told him about what was going to happen here tonight. He's probably on here watching.
Is he on the line? Maybe Ross is tuning in.
He's on the sidebar. He was in there earlier. So.
Was he in there? Okay, so yeah. Ross, I won't be speaking out of school. So Ross and I talked last night, and he says immediately, as soon as we've got some reprieve from this pandemic, he wants to organize a media tour from Europe to come over here and do a quick little media hype on the fact that we just opened the vault to the best carp fishing on the planet. And he wants to bring all the top carp media people and do a big spread on this. So it's gonna go quickly, believe me. It's gonna.
Hey, Mike, can you put Ross's comment up there just quickly if you can? I don't know if it's.
Yeah, there it is. There, so he's there. So he's saying that's really good news. I run the World Carp Classic and have done since 1998. We have over 40 countries participate to date, and a direct reach to over 1.7 million that have increased the numbers of rods. They're going to find this fantastic, and this is exciting, guys. How appropriate that I'm wearing my Ontario shirt, by the way.
Yes, I love it.
You know what? It's not just for tourism too, though, because our carp fraternity here in Canada, especially in Ontario, we have the most. These guys are the most respectful. Those and muskie fishermen to me are like the most respectful people towards their species of fish. Most people still, I mean, there's still this conception out there that carp are a garbage fish. Well, we have to stop that, John. Hopefully one day we can class them as a sport fish and then start working on limits and size limits and stuff like that. I mean, that'll be the future of this now, I think, now that we've gained some traction here. But they are the hardest core, yet they treat their fish with ultimate respect. They're so skilled at their game. It's just a great thing for just hopefully we're going to build a lot more carp anglers through this multi-rod rule because you know what, it's one of the easiest things to do. You're shore fishing. You don't need the boat. You don't need the motors. You don't need all the heavy duty gear. So it's going to be good all around for everybody.
That's a great point, Pete. We're talking about the tourism aspect, but right here in Ontario, we've got people that are just going to be so thrilled that this opportunity is going to exist now.
Absolutely.
And most of them are watching tonight, by the way, and commenting. So you know how happy they are. It just dawned on me that you two have come on here tonight and you have covered the whole map of Ontario. We've got great news for Northern Ontario, and we just got fantastic news for Southern Ontario because, as you know, carp are basically a Southern Ontario species. So we got it all covered.
Yeah.
I mean, what else can we do?
That's not a tear in my eye, but you're bringing me close there. You're bringing me close.
Anyways, want to thank both you guys for doing this and coming on tonight. And
one other thing, Ange, we want to just touch on that you and I have been talking about too. So we've made some changes as well to bass fishing.
Yes.
here in Ontario. You know, we have the normal bass fishing seasons in June to December, which is catch and take. You have a limit. But what bass fishers have been asking for years is some other angling opportunities. So now we have a catch and release for both largemouth and smallmouth bass in fishing zone 20. I believe it is.
Yeah,
fishing zone 20 from January 1st to May 10th, which is going to give anglers just so many more tremendous opportunities to enjoy that sport.
That's right, John. That's right, buddy. John, buddy. I love it.
Pete and I are divided on this, John. I don't hold any punches. Okay, Pete and I are divided on this. Pete is 100% behind this decision. I am a little bit leery about it, and I don't mean to hide it. I want to see what the net results are going to bring us. That's what I'm more interested in this.
Something we didn't mention, by the way, sorry to interrupt you, Ange. I just want to get this out because we didn't mention it earlier in the show, is that in doing this, I think the whole decision to this came from the extension of the closed season now on smallmouth in zone. Yes. So now the smallmouth also used to be the last or the third Saturday in June, now goes to the 4th, and it goes to the first Saturday in July, which is huge. At 2 weeks, those fish in Lake Ontario, especially in zone 20 in those cold water areas, they could be on the beds well. In that old season, they were on the beds opening day. If people went out to the Dock Islands, there was fish all over on beds. Well, this is going to really help that too. So I think that's where they did that. The MNR probably looked at that and then went back.
Part of protecting the species and the spawning and everything else. And but also to give those extra opportunities now for angling, because hey, there's nothing like bass fishing for fun. I mean, it is you got yourself a nice fighter when you're hooking onto those bass.
Oh my God! And especially on the Great Lakes, those big burly smallmouth on St. Lawrence and Lake Ontario. Oh my God, it's just unreal. James N, guys, the regulations look like they've been updated. So can we fish with multiple lines right now? Is this the official announcement, John?
I'm just a minister. I'm not the game warden. What the heck?
I believe that the news release.
I'll tell you, go on the website and it'll tell you, because if I was to get on here and tell somebody fish, and then I was wrong and they got charged, man, oh man, would I be getting some email?
in all fairness to John, we got communication about 5 minutes before we went live tonight, and that communication was very, very simple to understand. Do not make any promises. Tell people at 5:30 today we are going to put out an official press release on behalf of MNRF, and it will explain everything. So let's not
on our comments. The news release is on our website right now.
Perfect.
After the cast, they can check it out, sort of thing. So
perfect.
There you go. Always follow the rules, folks. Always follow.
Yeah, you barely do that, John.
But she did say barely. She didn't say not.
Yeah, that's a good point. Can I ask you guys something that's totally unrelated to what we're talking about? Because I talk about this with my colleagues all the time. If I had chosen to get into politics and run for whatever it is, man, I sure wouldn't want to have the bad luck of having it happen during this pandemic. You guys must be under so much fire every single day, because hey, doesn't matter what you do. Doesn't matter what you do. There's always somebody who's going to look at it as being wrong, right? But never so much so are you under the microscope as you are right now. It's got to be hell. It's the only way I can describe it.
That's why we love doing something like this, Ange, because it gives us a little bit of a diversion. And Elmac will. She goes through the same thing and different things at the same time, because she has a different dynamic in her city of Ottawa. But to me, it's one of the toughest things when you're in politics, quite frankly, is that period that we call a campaign, because
Right.
you're being examined closely every minute of the day during that. But that's a very short period of time. But this is the closest thing that I could liken it to with this COVID, is that we're almost in campaign mode, and we're not campaigning, but we're under that same kind of pressure continuously, because every day is a major decision, because every day brings new issues, new problems. The reality of yesterday has changed for today, and I got to tell you, Premier Ford,
Oh,
my good God, the stamina and the ability for that man to stand up to everything that has been thrown his way is absolutely beyond description. And so, but we signed up for this. I mean, Lisa, this is what we signed up for. We know, and we've been around a long time, so we've experienced, different times. But for people who first got elected in 2018, it's got to be wow. This is wow. It's got to be a real wow factor for them. But anyway,
to me, it's like working towards something all of your life. And I'm talking about Premier Ford now. All of your life, you've worked towards this one goal, this position you want to hold at some point, because you really want to be able to make a difference, and you want to be able to deliver your messages. And you finally, after God knows how many years, you finally achieve that level. And all of a sudden, you have to go to war. And that's what, to me, this is like. You guys are at war. Every day, you guys are at war with this damn pandemic. And it blows my mind. And anybody who says anything nasty about politicians, and I don't care what color that flag is behind you, anybody who says anything nasty about politicians during this period that we're in right now, man, they need to go out and get a break somewhere else, because this is the worst of all times. It's to me, it's war. You guys are on the battlegrounds every day.
But people are, but it's challenging for people too, because lives have been disrupted in ways that they never expected, and we understand that. And many times it's the shots are there because people are frustrated, but we understand that, and we it's what we agreed to, So we're there to serve the people, and we're going to working together. We're going to get through this.
And I also want to tell folks, that these are two politicians that you can reach out to, and I can attest to that. You have a problem, they're wide open. They're open for business. One way or the other, they will get your message. Don't be afraid of sending it up the flagpole, because these are two folks that take their jobs very seriously, and we appreciate both you guys, man. Just keep up the great work. We're going to keep you in the loop in terms of having that event where we get both of you either together or separately on one of these trips that we'll be giving away to Northern Ontario here in the weeks to come. I believe there's like 72 trips, individual trips will be given away. So it's going to be huge. It is the biggest event of its kind. We looked into it. Never before has there been an event of this magnitude involving free trips to anywhere in the world as this. And it's happening right here in our home province of Ontario. And we'd be happier to announce it.
Well, thanks. And I just want to say it's also the year of the staycation. So when it's safe to do so, the Ontario Travel Incentive is going to be there. It's $150 million to encourage Ontarians to safely reconnect in their own communities. And when you talk about Northern Ontario, there's a real opportunity here for people across Ontario to really, instead of spending their money in the South or in Europe, to really look at some of these authentic experiences that we have in the North with our Indigenous communities and right around the province. And again, you're going to get a 20% tax credit for your travel. And so it's going to be a really important year. And we're going to continue to invest in our regional tourism organizations like Destination Northern Ontario. We gave them $500,000 this summer to execute on that hyper-local initiative. And we're going to continue to support them as we move forward. And David McLaughlin is going to be key to that, he's going to be on a working group. I'm going to be announcing our task force later this week, and he's really going to help us refine a great, authentic experience in the north. And then, as you said, in the south, and many of the lakes and rivers that you're talking about on this program are in tourism areas that are signature destinations that are going to need people to come back. And so, we may not get those 4.7 million visitors from outside of Ontario back this year, but we certainly can get Ontarians, circulating and reconnecting when it's safe to do so right here at home. And again, I like to say we need to reconnect them, but we're also saying Ontario is yours to rediscover now, and so we just got to do that.
Nice.
Lisa, how do you, can you just quickly, if you don't mind, give us a little more detail on that program where I know folks can get up to $1,500 rebate on their taxes or something for traveling at home? Yeah,
so it'll be a 20% tax credit on your taxes. We're still working with the industry and the sectors to land on the final program. We're working with the Ministry of Finance to do that, and we want to be in a position, hopefully, this fiscal year where people are able to travel, so that we can open it up within the province. So you'd have to be an Ontario resident, an Ontario taxpayer. But we feel that if we're investing 150 million, then we're certainly going to be able to circulate a lot more cash in the province, because people will be spending their $1,000 for a weekend away. So more details will be announced imminently, and we're also looking at additional tourism supports across the province. And so we do have a budget coming up in March, and that's our hope. But a lot of this is when I went up to Northern Ontario for the week with David McLaughlin, and we didn't even scratch the surface. I spent 11 weeks on the road in Ontario this past summer, just looking at our authentic experiences and really encouraging people to look what's in your own backyard. We forget how beautiful this province is, and that we can safely do anything when the conditions are right that we could do elsewhere, but we sometimes overlook it. And so I think it's really important that we start looking around, in your own city, your own village, your own community. What can you do there? And then what can you do, 15 minutes from your own backyard? And that's what we really want to do. It's really a hyper-local year of the staycation, and really rebuild that infrastructure in tourism.
Well, this is a wonderful night for all of us in the outdoors. Let me just tell you. And as you can tell by the messages here on the side, everybody agrees, and they're so thankful and appreciative of what both of you are bringing to the table at a time when it might be easy just to kind of duck under the hedge and hope that things fly overhead. You guys are coming out and making great statements, and just can't thank you enough.
And I just figured out how to get to the comment section. Yeah. Me and that technology.
I love you, John. I love you. See, I love that about you. Most ministers wouldn't say that.
Well, listen, it's a running joke with Yak. He just learned how to use Teams about a week ago. But I've been his seatmate over the years, like many, many years, and teaching him how to use his iPhone and the BlackBerry before that. The Twitter.
The Twitter.
As long as I can use a fishing rod and a rifle, eh?
Shut up, boy.
Is that a challenge? Did I just detect a bit of a challenge there?
I'm reeling him in. I'm reeling him right in. Lisa, I got him.
I know.
Once again, guys, thank you so much, and appreciate it. We'll keep you in the loop. And I'd like to invite you back to the program here once we start this event going, and once we get the Carp thing in place. I'd like to invite you both back on the program, either by yourselves, together, whatever, it doesn't matter, and talk to the folks again about it. So appreciate it, guys.
Yeah,
thanks, guys. Thanks, Johnny, for those changes. Thank you.
This was a blast. Thank you.
Take care, guys. Wow.
Fantastic.
How cool is that?
It finally is out, buddy. Finally. Hey, I got a couple of, I want to make a point here. I saw a couple of comments.
Yeah.
Now they're starting to ask about, and now Ange and I are not experts here. We're just kind of the middlemen working between the carp anglers and the government here. The one was if he has 3 rods, can he use 1 for another species? I do not think you can. I think it has to be 3 rods dedicated to carp only. Now, there we go. Okay, that's perfect. So for now, at least, make sure you're all in carp, because there might be a gray area there. You don't want to be caught in that one.
Yeah,
the second thing is, no matter how many rods you're using, more than 1 rod, as soon as you use more than 1 rod, if you say, and the carp anglers are going to know this. I'm talking about the general public here that doesn't really know much about this. If you have 2 rods sitting out there and they got worms, live worms down there, because carp will eat worms. There's no doubt about it. But so will every other fish out there eat worms. So you are illegally fishing with 2 rods then. You have to be carp dedicated. So it's probably going to be corn or boilies for the most part. It's going to be plant-based baits and stuff like that.
It's non-organic, you could use plant-based.
Yeah.
But it cannot be, for example, you can't grind up worms or crayfish or a fish in general. So it has to be plant-based baits. Also, if you're going to be using the 3 rods, you must have them within a certain proximity of each other. And I believe it's 2 meters. So you can't get 2
meters between,
all over the place. They have to be on a stand together, or if not on a stand, they have to be within that proximity. But all the rules and regulations are very, very clearly written on their site, and they're simple to understand. Now, here's the thing, guys. It's going to be up to us not to screw this up. See, people are already thinking, okay, how can I cheat the system here? How can I get... We've been waiting for years to have this opportunity. Let's not have M&R field people come back to the minister and say, hey, this is a disaster.
That goes for the bass thing too. What he's saying is exactly for the bass thing too. Both these things we announced tonight are going to be, we're going to be the stewards of that. Gordy Pizer wrote a thing one time. Listen to this. Anglers don't typically get the fisheries they want. They get the ones they deserve through their actions. Think about that. Those are great words. Those are great words for us. We have to really adhere to everything. And you know what? When you see somebody else doing something wrong, if you ask them kindly and they don't do it, tips MNR, call Crime Stoppers, rat them out. They shouldn't be doing this. You know, I've done it before and I'll do it again. I have no problem doing that. Put it in your phone and rat them out. Make sure they know that they're doing something illegal. So please, let's all be stewards of it and do it smart and do it legally.
That's a good point. You know, how many times have we been in a position where we see something taking place that's illegal, and yet we just say, oh, look at that idiot. And then
I used to do that, buddy. I don't anymore. I have it on my phone, and I have called them, and they're very appreciative. If they can't get there, if there's something else you can do, license plate numbers. I did that one time. I knew where these guys were fishing. I couldn't go over and do anything with them. There's too many of them, and I was by myself. I could have got beat up and killed maybe. But I went out. I knew where they launched. They launched the same place that I did. Took the license plate number, and I called the MNR up and given that, and they said they took care of the business. So I don't know what happened to that, but at least I did my effort towards. But they were doing illegal actions. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's very easy. You put it in your phone and you push.
And let me tell you, I think initially when this thing first goes out and we start, you know, maybe getting into May and June, they're going to be out checking. So
sure they are. Sure they are.
Don't do anything that is nefarious in the least, because they're going to be checking, and then we're going to have people saying, yeah, but I didn't know that you couldn't use a worm. No, it's very plain and very simple. Plant-based bait only. If you just think about that, plant-based. That's it. That's all you have to know. That means anything that is not a plant cannot be put at the end of your hook to catch carp. If you're going to be fishing with more than 1 rod. If you're going to be fishing with 1 rod, then you don't have to worry about it.
The sky's the limit, yeah.
Right. Besides, yeah. So let's just not fool around with that. 3 rod. We want 2.
And then we're, like I said earlier, Ange and I are still going to work towards, for your carp guys, we're still going to, and girls, we're going to still work towards getting them classed as a game fish. We'd like to see that next. Is bow fishing, is it needed nowadays for people to shoot with bow and arrows? Well, I mean, that's a big thing with the carp anglers, you know what I mean? Like these people they're in their little world of everything is done perfect, and they treat these creatures with the best respect, and all of a sudden somebody's walking down with a satchel full of dead carp with arrow holes through them too. That's a whole other subject. But if we can get them classed as game fish first, and then get limits, and then get size limits so that people can't keep, you know what I mean? We can work towards the better of the sport.
Let's put up, Mike, if we could put up a few comments and or questions, we'll take them now, and we'll be on our way. We can go have a beer or something, celebrate. This is an epic evening. Are you kidding me? Like, this is so exciting tonight. I'm not going to be able to sleep.
Absolutely. I don't know what, okay, got Jeff Whaler. He said something about guys.
Done that. He turned people in. He says he got a guy illegally fishing bass last summer. M&R came and got him. It was beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah. Well done, bud. And it didn't cost anything, Jeff, anything but a phone call. He just makes, calls the tips M&R, and it's done. Beautiful. That is awesome. It's good for you.
Somebody was asking about the edibility of carp. Where was that? I just saw it. And although I have not personally eaten carp, yeah, Stephen wants to know. I have not personally. I want to this summer, this year. I'm going to try carp. I have to try carp. I know that they're being they've been eaten here before. I've talked to people who've eaten them, said they're delicious. I want to try it. Before I say no, I need to try it, and it might be no.
Have you ever seen the meat? Is it a red color? Is it a white flaky?
No, it's white. It's white. White flaky. Yeah.
Really? Eh?
Yeah, apparently it lends itself well to being smoked. It's very similar to sturgeon. It's a very oily kind of product, and apparently smoked is fantastic. But there's several different ways. My good friend Ian Mucher, who you know, Pete, he's told me about it before. They love it. I mean, it's fantastic.
You realize you're knocking yourself in the nose now, right? You just got the 3-rod rule in, and now you're starting to talk about eating carp. These guys are going to all of a sudden, I loved you for a minute, now I hate you again.
No, but you got to try new things,
Of course.
Tim Sturgeon just received a 20 size line counter reel. What line to use for 5-pound ball? Interesting. Can you give us a little more information, Tim?
He's kind of talking a downrigger and something else. Okay, here we go.
A bass on one of the 3, is that illegal? Can you keep the bass? Here we go.
Okay.
Trying to already find those gray areas, right, James?
See, James, I'm going to say no, you cannot, because you're fishing for carp, and if you keep that bass, you have more than one rod in the water, you're going to get busted. Bingo. How's that?
Bingo. Simple. I'm so excited. This is the Angler Files. I'm so excited for the return of the Fishing Canada Carp Cup. Actually, I had my Carp Cup shirt on before the Ontario, but I figured I'd impress the ministers more with the Ontario. Hey, are you kidding me? We're going to be first in line. As soon as we think, I don't know whether this may. I have my.
It's not going to happen.
I have my doubt.
We've been working at it. It's just can't. We can't do it, guys. Sorry about that.
There's just no way of doing it comfortably. We're having a hard time shooting our shows, to be honest with you, and that's a small crew.
Yeah.
Yeah. It just right now there's no logical way of doing it without putting people at risk, and this is all about risk management, right? So when we think we've got a good handle on the risk management, we'll be back with the Carp Cup. So I would not count on it for this year, but man, we gotta hope. We gotta hope for next year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. Oh, Tim Sturgeon. So he wants to use a line counter reel with this downrigger. So I'm assuming he's Great Lakes fishing he's talking about, maybe up north and all that. On the Great Lakes, a lot of the guys run like a 20-pound fluorocarbon, 20 or 25-pound fluorocarbon, believe it or not. Sounds heavy, but I know a lot of my guys, my buddies and that run that heavy a fluorocarbon line on their downrigger setup because of the abrasion, because the salmon have teeth, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So that's, Timmy, if that's what you're talking about, if you're running in an inland lake, I would definitely not go as high as 20-pound. I would say it'd go down to like a 12, 15-pound or whatever, because your bait is, you're not really, there's nothing on your bait, you know what I mean? You're clipping it on a downrigger line. So that's my suggestion.
I see I'm being called a brown noser for tonight's activities.
Oh, I like that. I know exactly what he's talking about. You're giving me shit earlier, and then when the minister comes in, talking about it.
So now that they're not on the line here, let me come clean with this, and I mean it with total. And by the way, John Yakabuski and I have had some huge blowups that you're not privy to, nor will I repeat them, nor will I tell you when they took place, nor will I tell you what it was about. but we have had some major disagreements, like monumental disagreements. But at the end of the day, what I love about John is that he's just one of us. You can sit down across the table and you can debate it. He'll listen to your point of view. He might not agree, but he doesn't rule anything out. That's what I love about John. And he makes you feel like you're part of the process, which is really important, especially for us as outdoors people. We sometimes feel that the politicians don't have our backs because what do they care about what we do? But this guy does, and this guy listens. And when he can, he does. So don't think I'm just a brown noser trying to get my way with him. I really like John. Lisa, I think she's a great person. We haven't had as much interaction with her as we have with John, but she seems very, listen, just to come on this show, for a politician to come on a show like this that is outdoors driven is a tough demand. I mean, even on a radio show that we used to put out every week on the Fan 590, it was always a chore to get a politician to come on and speak. The reason being they don't like to have uncontrolled situations like this. This is totally uncontrolled. It's live. Stuff comes out that they can't take back. And so they're told by their staff not to do those kind of things. Hell, my staff tells me not to do those kind of things. So I can imagine the poor politicians.
On a daily basis.
Thank you, Peter, for bringing that up. But that's what I love about them. And for I know that about John. For Lisa to come on and do this was fantastic. So that's all I can tell you. Call that brown nosing. I don't care. Yeah, maybe I did. Maybe I am. I don't know.
Maybe, that's what Cole used to say.
Carol Caputo, the queen of Northern Ontario tourism, is on with us. According to the internet, carp are good to eat. You have to prepare it properly. If you don't like fishy flavor, carp are a staple part of diets all across the world. Thank you, Carol. Carol Caputo, by the way, for those of you who don't know her, is, I would say, one of the most important folks in the north, in Northern Ontario. She's in Sault Ste. Marie. I first met Carol when she was with the Algoma region. And what are you doing in here?
Hi, everybody. Where am I?
Look at this guy.
My computer died. I forgot to plug my stupid computer in.
Oh my God. Only Fish in Canada could do this kind of wackiness. Anyways, with Algoma country, which is, for those of you who don't know, Algoma country, if you follow us, you know how highly we talk about it. But next week or the week after, we have an entire program on television that is dedicated to Algoma country. So you'll know it better by then. But Carol is instrumental in getting a lot of the programs in Northern Ontario, and is a real ambassador for that part of the country. And she's a big believer in what we're about to do with this Ontario Getaway giveaway. So thanks for joining us, Carol. Merv Ellis, when the new contest starts, do I have to join again, or will I be accepted with my information now? No. So I'm glad you brought that up. It is a brand new platform. So what it means is that you have to go back in and re-enter. Make like you don't exist. You're going to come in brand new. And keep in mind, one of the criteria now is that you're going to have to upload an image of something. There you are, Mr. Bowman. Nice to have you.
Oh!
So you're going to have to re-enter and put up an image. If I could just take a moment, I know Peter told me not to get into this, but I want to get into this just quickly. We had a real challenge, as you probably know, on the 15th of December, when we were giving away the boat motor trailer, because at that time we had very limited information on the contestants, meaning all we had to connect with you was an email address. Nothing else. No phone number, no address, no nothing. Hence, that became a problem, as most of you know. The new contests all require you to give us 2 or maybe it's even 3 points of contact. So
Plus
you
your
will.
firstborn.
I'm sorry?
The firstborn.
Plus the firstborn, sure.
Thank you.
So you will have to give us, phone number, I think, postal code, address, full name. Like, we need to know who you are, because we don't want to happen again what happened in December.
Yeah.
And
let me throw this out too. If you're entering the contest, keep looking to see if you won. Keep your contact. You stay in touch too. You know what I mean? It's your interest, not ours. I mean, we're going to give this away to somebody. We're going to give this away no matter what. But you are part of this game. So if you want to win it and you're entering it, stay on top of it. Hey, Fishing Canada, did I win? You know what I mean? So please.
I just saw a great carp question. Kevin Godfrey, we can put that up, Mike, if you don't mind. Kevin is saying, I think it's important to educate on carp care. Now that we've got 3-rod, hey, listen, we're going to be catching more carp. All of us are going to be catching a lot more carp. We're going to have more contact with carp. So in as much as the general fishing community right now doesn't regard carp as a species or a game fish, shouldn't say species, as a game fish, it's important to for carp anglers to not lighten up on this. Things like, the proper way to handle carp release, using carp mats, unhooking mats, live release mats is vital, and proper nets, because these are totally different. The rules that, we've learned, bass fishing, walleye fishing, muskie fishing, etc., they're all out the door. Carp is a totally different animal. And so this is a great time to also learn what those proper handling procedures are going to be. Because let me tell you, with 3 rods out in the water, just think about it, guys. You carp anglers know this. You've been surviving without 3 rods up until now and doing extremely well. Can you imagine? Can you imagine using 3 rods? It's going to be nuts.
You know what? That's a great point too. And Len Purdick and I talked about this yesterday, is that you got to use common sense here too, folks, in the sense of and sometimes it happens on 1 rod, the fishing is mayhem. You're not going to be able to handle 3 rods. So if the fishing's that good, don't have 3 rods out there just so you can hook up 3 fish, because your lines are going to tangle. And then what Andrew just said, and the people are saying, the fish are at jeopardy again. If it's that good, drop down to 2. If it's really, really good, drop down to 1 rod until the flurry stops. Then put the 2 out when it slows down, and put the 3 out again. So use your common sense here,
That's great.
In mind. So
that's a great suggestion, and we're going to have to all get used to it. This is all brand new.
Yeah,
it's going to be brand new, man. We're going to have to get used to this whole thing. It's so exciting. It's unbelievable. Somebody was just saying, is it open now? Just to repeat, for those of you just getting in to this conversation, we had the Minister of Natural Resources, John Yakabuski, come on the program at 5:30 today, and that was the same time that the MNRF made their press release official and put it up on their site, that as of 5:30 today, it will be, you need to read the rules and regulations, but you will be able to fish carp with 3 rods, a lot of stipulations, including the fact that it's plant-based baits only. And there is no sidestepping that. If they deem you to be mixing anything other than plant-based product in your baits, there will be a heavy fine, and they'll stipulate all that on the site. So go check it out. We have it up on fishingcanada.com, I believe, as of 5:30 as well. We broke the news here live, so the rest of the world will know about this tomorrow. You folks you and whoever else you send it out to, and in fact, that'd be cool if everybody just sent it out to their social circles tonight and get the scoop on the regular media on what's taking place, because this is historic in the fishing community for sure.
Absolutely.
What else we got there?
I don't know, to be honest.
Watch out for the scam with the Fishing Canada. What is that?
Oh, no, he's right. That extra Fishing Canada on our Facebook pages, those scammers. And you know what? I saw that as well. The Beasleys are going through that right now. Canada in the Rough is going through the same thing right now. Somebody's imitating their site and trying to get email addresses or whatever they're doing. So it's ongoing, man. It's unreal.
We will never reach out to you. I can tell you this with total certainty. So this will eliminate any scams. We will never reach out to you requesting you to give us information, especially requesting you for credit card information. It will never happen. If somebody reaches you to do that under our name, it is a scam. The only time that you will have an opportunity to connect with us And share information with us is when you come to us, such as the contest, such as the subscriber list, such as the soon to be announced VIP segment of Fishing Canada. When you come to us, you initiate that contact, then there will be information sharing. If you get an email from Fishing Canada asking you for something, throw it in the garbage immediately. So, there.
Beautiful. I see one there, Mikey. I see one about David H. How are you going to fish? Wondering how you're going to fish 3 rods. Well, David H., you need to go on the internet and look for some professional carp fishing setups and that. You're going to see what these guys do, guys and girls do. They have either a rod pod set up, and they can set 3 rods right beside each other, and they'll cast it out like 2 out to an angle and 1 straight out. Or they'll have what they call bank sticks. And they're just 2 sticks that you stick in the bank, and then 1 holds the front of the rod and the back of the rod. You put 3 of those out. And when the fishing's slow and you know you're going to get 1 bite an hour, that's a great way of getting advantage of getting that 1 bite an hour sort of thing like that. So it's very manageable as long as there's no mayhem like I talked about earlier. It's very manageable. And normally you can keep the rods, the lines out that are out there, and they won't tangle as a rule. You'll see your fish where it's going. If it's coming towards one of your other lines, you might have to lift 1 rod up and let them go underneath. You know, there's going to be some mayhem, but it'll be fun mayhem, right? So it's very manageable. Go on the internet and watch and take a look at some of these professional carp anglers. So cool. It's unreal what they can do.
Mark McComb's got an interesting comment and question. I've never fished carp, but have heard that carp are an invasive species. What are the regulations for keeping them in Ontario? Well, right now, as it stands, there is no regulation for carp, meaning that there are no limits. There's no open or closed season. There's no, well, as you know, I mean, you can go out and bow hunt carp legally and take as many as you want. So there is no regulation yet, other than the fact that we can now fish with them with 3 rods. Which is kind of bizarre. I know it's kind of weird for a fish that up until now wasn't even recognized as a game fish. Why couldn't we fish with 10 rods before? There's no limit, so who cares about how many you take, right? That's kind of the thinking. But this is step 1. Now that we've gotten
first step,
not even a word. Now that DFO and MNRF have put carp in a category where they at least have a regulation. Now we start working towards getting it regulated as a game fish. Because I think it needs to be, right?
It used to be. So here's the deal with the 1 rod rule. It still stands that that you're only allowed 1 rod in the open water when you're fishing anywhere except for the Great Lakes. Then you're in a boat, you're allowed 2. If you're on shore, no matter what, you're allowed 1 rod for any other species of fish. That was including carp. So that was a legal point in fishing, not in carp fishing, in fishing in general. Now they've said, okay, if you're carp fishing specific and you can prove that, you are allowed multiple rods. That's what the way you got to kind of read into that.
Calvin, how you doing, buddy? When fishing with 3 rods, what would you do if all 3 got hit? Scream like a little girl, and with all due respect to girls, okay? I would scream like a little girl.
Poop my pants.
We've had some moments. It's insane.
I bet you some carp anglers that have gone abroad and fished would probably experienced that. It'd be neat to hear the stories that happens. I mean, because it would happen. I mean, you'd have to tighten the hell out of a couple of drags and hope they didn't break and pull the rods off the pods and into the lake. You know, oh my God, it could be craziness for sure. It would be craziness for sure.
I know a couple of folks are talking about carp as an invasive species, and just to set the record straight, you're absolutely right. Invasive in the sense that they were introduced to our environment, but we're talking common carp. This happened over 100 years ago. So I don't know whether you could call a species that was introduced inadvertently or even on purpose 100 years ago as an invasive species, and it's definitely not. Now, there are some carp, Asian carp being probably at the top of that heap, snakehead. There are 3 or 4 species or subspecies of carp, not the common carp, that have just recently invaded our waterways or are starting to invade our waterways. Yeah. They are definitely invasive species, and we need to deal with them in a totally different manner. And please do not mistake any of those subspecies with the common carp or the mirrored carp, which are the two fish that we deem to be sport fish in this part of the world.
People should understand too, like smallmouth bass is a great example. Smallmouth bass is an African fish. It originated in Africa.
South Africa.
Over to North America, dug along the railroad lines along the way north, and they had milk cans, big milk jugs full, and they dropped. Now, I don't know if it was the MNR or who did this, but these fish were introduced from somewhere else, and now they're in Ontario. Everybody says that's an Ontario fish, right? But it wasn't. It was an African fish that was introduced to Ontario. So it's the same idea. But I mean, the carp weren't introduced purposefully, but they got here. So there, you could say, if it wasn't under, I don't know if it was under controlled conditions or not. And do you know when those train lines ran through, was it the government that did that, or was it just guys that said, you know what, let's drum some smoke?
It was individuals that were doing it. And it's funny because about 20 years ago, there was a great study, and I can't remember who commissioned it, but it was a private study that tracked smallmouth populations from southern Ontario all the way into the province of Manitoba. And the whole study was based on our national railway system running through the province, and an overlay of lakes that were known to have smallmouth bass. And I'll tell you, there wasn't a single body of water at the time, 20 years ago, that was not definitely connected to the railway system.
Yeah, there you go.
Off the railway system, there's no smallmouth bass.
There you go.
And so, back then the speculation was that there were a handful of entrepreneurs, big business people, maybe the railway executives that were doing this on the snai, and they were dumping them so that they could go and enjoy them later on. But that's how they got their foothold. And now, as we know, I mean, is there a lake that doesn't have them? It's so hard to find a lake that doesn't have. They've done so well in the province. It's unbelievable. So. What else we got there, Michael? He's having a hard time picking them too. Says Ange, you are not alone. I don't know what Michael was saying there, but good. I hate being wrong.
I think he's talking a good thing about you somehow.
I hope so. I get enough bad things every time I screw up. By the way, where's Jack? Jack's left me there.
He was in there. He was in there earlier.
Yeah.
Anyway, if there's nothing interesting.
Carp's my favorite game fish to catch, pound for pound, one of the hardest fighting fish. Anybody who says that they're not what is a sport fish, by the way? Peter, what is a sport fish?
Well, unfortunately, it's just a, quote, classification, a word, right?
But what do you think? When I say to you sport fish, what does that mean?
Well, in the literal terms, I mean, it's a sporting fish. It's a great fish to catch, fight, fun, have fun, doing the whole 9 yards. Yeah, the whole idea of fishing. You're angling for this opponent that you're trying to have fun with and have a sport with, I guess you call it. Yeah, that's my opinion. So why is a carp not? Right?
Garpike, is that a sport fish?
Oh my God, it should be for sure. Love gar. Those things are awesome. They're better than carp because they jump like crazy. Nuts.
Those two species, if I could fish for nothing else other than carp and garpike, I'm fine. I'm cool. I have no issues at all. I'm fine with that. They give me everything I possibly need as an angler. So to us, we think of sport fish as something totally different. Sport fish is anything that if you go out to the Red River in Manitoba and fish for those big 35-pound channel cats.
Oh,
sport fish.
That's some fun.
You betcha.
Fun for sure. Oh, by the way, there's James N has put up this. I've been hearing a little bit about this. I don't know a whole lot about it, but the Canadian Carp Society launches March 20th. Perfect. So look that up on the internet, guys and girls, because there's some big moves towards getting carp even more popular, important, and get more involvement with it. So check that out. I've heard rumor about it. Don't know much about it, so I can't say, but it's a good thing. So
there's a great comment too, further to our railway discussion by Ed Duchette. He says that he read that railway bass were put there as a food source for rail repair crews, which very well could be.
Wow. See
I mean,
ya?
that's perfect.
You see there? Look at that. Yeah.
So
Yeah. Thank you for that. That's awesome.
They were hearty, and they were, and we know they're delicious, by the way. I hate to say this on an open mic, but bass are absolutely outstanding. So I can understand that being the case. Who knows?
I didn't hear that. I hear nothing. I see nothing.
Anyways, I think we're done. I know the boys behind the scenes, Michael and Jordan and Nick, they need to get home. It's been a long day today. So I just want to thank all of you that joined us on such short notice.
Absolutely.
We will, from here on in, be on a regular contact with you on a regular basis. We'll keep you updated on the Great Ontario Getaway Giveaway. That's going to become, that name is going to be famous someday. It's going to be like Peter Bowman. It's going to be like the name Peter Bowman.
Come on now, let's get realistic here, bro. Okay.
We're going to have a lot of fun. By the way, one more thing. I noticed way back, somebody has made a suggestion, and I didn't talk about it during the announcement because we had so much to talk about. Somebody made a suggestion saying that, hey, why don't you, at the end of this contest, maybe make a draw out of it and pick out a handful of people and take them on one of your Fishing Canada boot camp adventures. Well, guess what? You stole our thunder, because that's exactly what's going to happen. The main leg of this contest is going to be based on merit, meaning that you're going to win these trips based on your ability to get people to vote for you. That's the only way you're going to win. You need to get people to vote for you. How are you going to do that? Well, it's entirely up to you. First of all, a compelling story is going to work. A great image is going to work, but you need to work it every day yourself. You get people to come in and vote for you. So every month, those winners it's going to be based on merit. People who don't want to work for it, that part of the contest, there is no luck involved, right? However, at the end of that part of the and by the way, there's going to be a separate event each month whereby one of the voters that's voting is going to be, it's a draw, a random draw. They're also going to win a trip. But at the end of all of this, keep in mind, we've had all these winners and they're going to be out of the draw. Once you win once, you cannot win another prize. You're going to be done. You can keep entering the other contests on fishingcanada.com, but not the Great Ontario Getaway Giveaway. However, at the end of it all, for all of those who entered but did not win, there's going to be a draw, a grand draw, for 5 of you who are going to participate in the 2022, God willing, no pandemic, etc., Fishing Canada Boot Camp, all expenses paid. So there is going to be, I'm only telling you this now because you need to get yourself psyched up. You might not have a chance at winning the monthly prize because you don't want to put the work that it's going to take. Believe me, it sounds all fun and games, but the winners are going to earn those trips. They're going to have to work for those trips. However, there is going to be an element of luck, which will be at the very end when it's all said and done. We'll have random draw for 5 lucky people who will get the exclusive trip to the Fishing Canada Boot Camp for 22. So that's going to be huge news. And this will all be laid out to you once the contest kicks off. You'll have all these details for you to truly
that boot camp. Don't think it's going to be pretty, folks. We're going to be kicking ass and chewing bubble gum, and there ain't going to be much gum there. Okay? No, we're gonna.
I make it sound like they're winning, but you know what?
No, don't let him. The only thing that's gonna piss you off the most is when he gets on the blowhorn at 4 in the morning, 5 in the morning to wake everybody up. You still got a bit of a head full of beer. So
I love that. That's the best part of my job at boot camp is waking everybody up. Anyways, we gotta go, brother.
Hey,
we gotta go.
Yeah, for sure.
Thank you, everybody. Thanks for and share all this information with as many people as you can. Also, don't forget, go sign up for our subscriber YouTube subscription. We really appreciate your help that you can give us there. You know, we got a great YouTube channel that we're just starting to work building, but we need your help. Obviously, we need the subscription rate numbers to go up. So anything you can do there would be a tremendous. People say, well, what can we do to help you now that you've helped us? Go to our YouTube page and subscribe, please.
Perfect.
And
Easy.
how easy is that? So if you haven't already been there, go check it out and become a subscriber. Let's see that number actually move.
Shout out to the fan club, Jack Summers. Thanks, buddy, for that, because Jack's doing a lot of work with us on that one. The Fishing Canada Facebook fan club. That is awesome.
Can we talk just before we go? Can we just talk about that for a second? I don't want to just blow it off because Jack. For those of you who don't know Jack, he's with Radio World. He's a good friend of ours, a good friend of the show, a good friend of our brand. And probably a month ago, we were in conversation, and I told Jack we were having some issues on the fan club. And he said, hey, I'd love to work on it with you and see if I can maybe clean it up a little bit. And I got to tell you something. He has done an unbelievable job. Unbelievable job, and we can't thank him enough for joining the team. And I know some of you, maybe some of you don't agree. I hope you all agree, but he's done a great job so far.
Jack's so friggin' knowledgeable. He even told me today that they're changing a section of the name of the Napanee River. Okay, that's how knowledgeable this guy is. They're changing the section of the Napanee River. They're making a lake in it. That's this guy. I'm a Napanee boy. I'm Mr. Napanee. I'm the guy. He should be the mayor. He knows all that stuff. He's good. He's good. Thanks, Jack.
If you have any problems with the Fishing Canada fan page, feel free to reach out to Jack. No question is not important to him. Everything about the fan club, the Fishing Canada fan club, is important. So please feel free to reach out to him for sure. All right. We're out of here. Folks, thank you very much. We'll announce our next get-together. It's probably going to be a lot sooner than you think, but we will keep you posted. Thanks a lot. Take care, and go fish Ontario, baby.
Yeah, baby. Use a mercury when you're doing that, though, okay? Just to let you.
See you, Pete.